And this time they come around, they're going to be 4 wide, ladies and gentlemen. So for the final time tonight, up on your feet, make plenty of noise. This is one of the prestigious titles that's been going for a long, long time, since 1968. And last held here in 1981. This is the WA Super Sedan title, 4 wide. We're about to do 40 laps. Come on down in the bar. You still awake? All right, we're going back 2 wide. The lap after this, we will be going green with 40 grueling laps. Sitting with me is Ben Ludlow, who won this event the last time it was held here 40 years ago. Ben was only 21 at the time. Next time around.
Yeah, as I said, 40 years flicks by, but I remember that race very, very clearly. And actually, Super Sedan's actually evolved from a group called Super Stocks.
Yep.
And I actually won the Super Stock State Open Champion in 1971 at Wattle Grove. But I don't know whether they classified that, but I've still got the sash to say so.
That's all you need.
That's it.
Here we go. 40 laps the journey. Gary Higgs and Damon Truchet on row number 1. All about set for a start. Final event here in Bunbury. Out of Pitts Bend they come. It's all sedate for the moment. Can Gary Higgs go back to back after waiting nearly 4 decades to win his first? We're underway, and Gary Higgs gets a flyer of a start as they move down the main straight the first time. Damon Truchet on the outside. Back in 3rd place is Kyle Larson, then Kevin Bell. Back to Zach Mitchell in 5th place. And Lee Aylitz in 6th as they move out of Pitts Bend the first time. Oh, and Gary Higgs has made a hash of turn number 4. They come into the main straight. He's still in front. Kyle Larson had to button off. On the outside is Damon Truchet. Still side by side. Gary Higgs is on 2 wheels. So too is the 5 of Kevin Bell. Damon Truchet has hit the front as they go up into Pitts Bend. They come out of turn 3 and 4 side by side. Truchet's in front. Higgs fights back on the inside. Kevin Bell's up to 3rd place. It's been set at a cracking pace. The yellow lights have come on. Got a car around over on the back straight. And that was a helter-skelter start if you don't mind at all. And it's Steve Schofield who's facing the traffic in the 22 car at the end of the back straight. Well, that was a pretty quick lap and a half.
Yes, I think the track side by's got these guys a bit tricked out. I think they've all got a bit too much what they call panhard bar wedge on the cars, and that's what's kicking the left front wheels right off the ground. And I think that may go away a little bit towards when the race gets a few laps into it, hopefully.
So it'll be Gary Higgs, the leader, from Damon Truchet. As they cross the line at the end of the first lap, the margin was 0.143 of a second. The quickest opening lap was done by Lee Aylett in 4th place with a 19.486. So we have done a lap, 1 down and 39 to go. It will not be a complete restart. The cone comes out for the first time. Higgs will lead Truchet.
I think that's where the work was going on between them, as Truchet probably thought he had the upper hand, as they're still side by side. Steve Schofield just getting the left rear checked on the Corey Brown earth moving car number 22. And you look at the filler panel on the 3 machine of Damon Truchet, and the filler panel is apart right at the front of the nose cone. That separates the plastic from the nose cone back to the actual hood of the car. It's a massive hole sitting in that, which is going to help probably hopefully force some air into the car. But on a track so big as this, aero dependency starts to come involved in these cars. And with the 3, it may have some handling dramas, but it didn't look like it in those opening couple of laps as he went straight to the outside. The lights are out. We've completed 1 lap, still 39 to run.
Yep. We've got to do another 19 just in case it rains. We have to get to the halfway mark. I don't know when it's going to rain next. So it's at least a month off, I think. Here we go. Gary Higgs, Damon Truchet. Look at them, they're nose to tail here. Greens are back on. The green flag waves and Gary Higgs leads them down into turn number 1. The front left-hand wheel off the car. You nearly see the bottom of the car of Gary Higgs as Kevin Bell tried to come underneath of Lee Aylett. That didn't work. They come out at 3 and 4 to complete lap number 2. There's a pass further back, a hip and shoulder actually. Rob Knox on Nathan Bell as they come out of Catalano's corner. The race leader is that of Gary Higgs. Oh, Higgs made a mistake out of 2. And now Truchet flies back around the outside. Truchet's back in front. Higgs to fight back on the inside. Lee Aylett's on the inside now of Kyle Larson. And Kevin Bell's in 5th place. Truchet's back in front. So Truchet leads Gary Higgs. It's 5 cars fighting for the lead. Higgs fights back on the inside of Truchet. Higgs back in front. They go into the top turn. Truchet fights back around the outside. Damon Truchet's back in front. Back in 3rd place, it's Kyle Larson. Then we've got Lee Aylett. Right behind him is Kevin Bell. 5 cars locked together. Back in 6th place, Tristan Green, and Zach Mitchell in 7th. They head down the rest of straight. It is the 3 car of Damon Truchet just in front. Gary Higgs in 2nd place. Here comes Lee Aylett on the outside. Takes 3rd place from Kyle Larson as they into turn number 1. Back in 5th place is Kevin Bell. They go out of Piersantini and Lee Aylett's on the move. Moves up into 3rd place now. It's Damon Truchet by 4 car lengths. Back in 2nd place, Gary Higgs. And Lee Aylett's got that car motoring now. Back then to Kevin Bell. Kyle Larson is 5th. And then back to Zach Mitchell. 7th place is Tristan Green as they run the back straight. Lee Aylett is really the menacing car at the moment. Last time around the margin was 0.7 of a second. Here comes Lee Aylett now on the outside of Gary Higgs. It's Truchet by 3 car lengths. We've got 33 laps to go. Lee Aylett on the outside of Gary Higgs. Levels up with him in the back straight. Lee Aylett on the outside in 4. The yellow lights are on. Yellows are on. We've got Luke O'Hanlon up in the fence in Catalano's corner. And we've got our 2nd stoppage. That's pretty good stuff,
That's
Ben.
an excellent start, and the top cars are all going about the same speed, but that Lee Aylett, that's impressive what he's doing, that young fellow.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go for the outside move.
No, to chip off the old block from what his old man used to do a few years ago, but I think it's going to be interesting.
Good battle in those early laps between Truchet and Gary Higgs. They swapped leads there a few times.
It's just a matter of who gets it right, and you know, Kevin Bell's doing very, very well where he is because his car's not exactly right. I can see that, but he's fighting it. And I think that they're all fighting the cars a bit, but they're all doing a very good job.
So the first 5 is Truchet, Higgs, Aylett, Bell, Larson, young Zach Mitchell in 6th place, Tristan Green 7th. 8th place is James Westerman, who's doing a brilliant job, a street stock driver, driving that spare car, and he's up in 8th place. Back in 9th position is Kemble Aylett, then Rob Knox is up to 10th. He's passed a few cars.
Who's that just pulled out?
That's Zach Mitchell in the 47 car who's just pulled infield. Zach Mitchell was in 6th place in the 47. He had power steering issues with that car.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be driving a race car out there without power steering, I've got to tell you that.
No.
It's starting to look like it's leaning quite heavily.
I was just silly enough back in the early days of racing. I used to just push on regardless, but the cars were actually quite a lot easier to drive than these things. These things are they're like an animal, like a bucking bull.
Yep.
Flat right front tyre is the demise for Zach Mitchell.
Flat tyre, rotten luck.
So we'll lose 2 on this restart as Luke O'Hanlon as well.
Did you say a flat left front tyre?
Right front.
Oh, right front. I was going to say it was a flat left. None of them have been on the ground so far.
Who gives a toss? It's not on the ground anyway.
All right, so is Luke O'Hanlon's going to be able to leave 13 for these last 33 laps. I was at Albany back in November calling the last year's state title, which was held this season. This is exactly how it was. Truchet ahead of Higgs until lap 39.
I think Kevin was pretty competitive that night too,
yep.
but something went. Oh, electrical fault put him out.
Yep.
Nathan Bell's also come to the infield in the 55. So Ben Hands is going straight to him. And we'll see what the go is with the MSWA car number 55 of Nathan Bell.
The first 10 cars are all in the 18-second bracket, all doing over 100 kilometres an hour for the average lap so far.
The track is actually probably the best it's been all night long. As we said, it's been very bruising to start the night off with some real elbows up action, but after a massive amount of work from the track crew, especially with the length of tonight, a massive clap would have to go to those boys after coming up with something special, as these opening laps have been something worth remembering. As here we go, the lights are out. Truchet, Higgs and Lee Aylett are your top three.
Lights are out. We are go. 34 laps to go, and Truchet out in front. Higgs, Aylett, Kevin Bell. And then we've got the 10 car in 5th place of Kyle Larson, and Tristan Green runs 6th. So move out of turn 2. One car making up a lot of ground is Rob Knox. He's up into 7th place as Lee Aylett goes upstairs, comes around the outside of car 1 and is trying to get into 2nd place. It is Damon Truchet out in front. 2nd place is car number 1 of Gary Higgs. Lee Aylett in 3rd, Kevin Bell in 4th, and Damon back in 5th place, Kyle Larson. They come out of Catalano's corner. You throw a T-towel over the first 2. Aylett went a bit too wide. Comes into the clutches now of Kevin Bell. Down into Pearson Teeney's. Our race leader is car number 3, Damon Truchet, by 2 car lengths on Gary Higgs. Back in 3rd place, the same margin back to Lee Aylett. Kevin Bell in 4th position as they come out of turn number 4 into the main straight, and there's 3 car lengths separating the first 3 cars. Down into Pearson Teeney's again. Gary Higgs in 2nd place, right up behind Truchet as they come down the back straight. Here comes Lee Aylett again, comes up on the outside of both of them. He comes out of turn 4. Lee Aylett takes on Gary Higgs, now dives to the inside on Truchet and hits the front. Down into turn 1. Lee Aylett has hit the front, taken on both Higgs and Truchet and drives away from them. Well, what a move there on lap number 30. 10 down and 30 to go. Lee Aylett has hit the front and has driven away from Truchet. Back to Higgs in 3rd place. Kevin Bell in 4th as they run down into turn 1. Back then to Kyle Larson in 5th. Doing a great job in 6th place is Rob Knox from the back of the field. Back then to car 6, Tristan Green and Campbell Aylett, and he's out. Truchet is out, the yellows are on, and we've got a stoppage. Well,
how's my prediction earlier on?
Unbelievable. He took them both on and got them both in 1 lap.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. That's a real sweet piece of driving by the young fella. Let's just hope he can keep it up.
So the order will be Lee Aylett, Damon Truchet is out. It'll be Aylett, Higgs, Bell, Kyle Larson, Rob Knox. Rob Knox from the back of the field,
he's been quite impressive. I've been watched him for a while, and I thought, who's this Rob Knox? But he actually drives very, very well. Very steady driver.
So the cars are just going to be stopped here in the front straight while they extricate this car from the racetrack. They'll turn the engines off. So the order is for Lee Aylett. What a move around the outside of Higgs, and then the inside of Truchet in, well, the length of the straight, effectively.
Good as it gets.
Yep. Kevin Bell finds himself in a podium position again.
Yep.
And just updating the other state title on at the moment, Glenn Carstairs has won the Formula 500 title for the 2nd time, I think. Ryan Higgs was 2nd, Chris Dimmick 3rd. So the 2 of the favourites, Stephen Element and Matt Brown, didn't finish on the podium. That was the Formula 500s over at Narrage.
Oh, righty, eh?
Yeah. Very, very competitive category, that one, I can tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it always has been,
yep.
Right from way back. Unfortunately, they don't get a good following, but their racing's always been very good.
Yeah.
You go back to the early days, and you had Danny Lahore I think he's from down here somewhere, Danny, and the epic battles between him and Charlie West was just amazing.
So back to this, we get Damon Truchet off the racetrack. What a performance by Damon Truchet, again to be so consistent, but not to be this year.
Especially after going on the outside as well as he's just looking around. We'll see if we can get a word with Damon. Man, and another one that was so close for him is very shortly this race will be underway, but you're the best man to talk to when it comes to something like this. What happened?
Yeah, mate, I just got a bit wide and tagged the wall and caught the right front. It's flat tyre and top arm. Yeah, just unlucky. My own fault. I run a bit wide. Yeah, that's racing.
It's been one of those weekends anyway, but to come off again, to start off the front row, to lead a few laps, the pace is there in the car.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Thanks again to Colin and Judy for the car. Sorry for the damage and sorry we didn't finish, but we gave it a good shot, and yeah, we're there or thereabouts.
Collie's always the next choice next year.
Yeah, mate, I'm sure we'll be there.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Damon Truchet as we get set to restart. This makes smoking history. SSA Super Sedan state title as one car needs a push. That's the current race leader. I'm not too sure if the car is stalled out, but hopefully it's been able to restart as we'll wait for...
Well, we don't need this as to be a drama that the car won't start.
Yes.
It's underway. Thank goodness for that. That'd be heart and mouth stuff, Ben, if that wasn't a restart.
Well, it's always a worry when you have to turn your engine down, and quite often something doesn't work, the starter motor doesn't work, or sometimes they drip a bit of fuel and flood.
Yep.
All sorts of things can happen with race cars, and they're not the most reliable things in the world, unfortunately.
So 29 laps to go. We're getting straight back underway. We've had 3 stoppages. We're back underway with Lee Aylett, your race leader, from Gary Higgs and Kevin Bell. Down into turn number 1. Back in 4th place, Kyle Larson, and then in 5th place, Rob Knox. So head down the back straight this first time back under green. Lee Aylett, your race leader. As they come out of turn number 4, back in 2nd place, the defending champion. 3rd place is Kevin Bell, then Kyle Larson, who's under attack from the 68 of Rob Knox. Back in 6th place is Tristan Green. On Tristan Green's outside is car number 9, Kemble Aylett. So run the back straight after that, James Westerman, Steve Schofield, Steve Larson and Andrew Kennedy. Into the main straight, it is Lee Aylett out in front, 27 laps to go. Back to Gary Higgs in 2nd place. 3rd place, Kevin Bell. Kyle Larson running on the outside. On the inside comes the 68 of Rob Knox. Almost threw himself out of the game there. On the outside now of Westerman comes Kemble Aylett, moves into 6th place. Lee Aylett leads with 26 laps to go. Back to Gary Higgs in 2nd place. Kevin Bell is in 3rd. Back in 4th is Kyle Larson, and in 5th is Rob Knox. So race starts to settle down a wee bit. Kemble Aylett is next, then Tristan Green, then James Westerman, Steve Schofield, Steve Larson and Andrew Kennedy. The margin is 2 seconds. Lee Aylett to Gary Higgs. Back in 3rd place is car number 5, Kevin Bell. Kyle Larson is next, and back then to the 68 of Rob Knox. That's the first 5, but Lee Aylett is looking great out in front. He comes up with 24 laps left to go. Lee Aylett out in front from Gary Higgs. The margin is 2.3 seconds. Back to Kevin Bell in 3rd place. 4th place is Kyle Larson, then Rob Knox. Back in 6th place is car number 9 of Kemble Aylett, then Tristan Green, Steve Schofield, and right behind Schofield is James Westerman. Larson comes underneath of Westerman, and back to Andrew Kennedy. Lee Aylett continues to lead. He's going to come up on heavy traffic in a couple of laps' time. There's 4 of them locked together at the back of the field. Westerman and also Schofield, Larson and Kennedy as they move down the main straight. 22 laps to go for Lee Aylett in the state title. Back in second is Gary Higgs and then Kevin Bell. It's been a race of attrition and still a fair way to go yet. Man and machine will be tested in this last 20 laps. But the quickest of all is Lee Aylett, a 17.48 that last time around. As they move, sorry, an 18.48 the last time around. It's Lee Aylett who's now coming up on the back markers. 5 of them, in fact. The first of them will be Andrew Kennedy. Back in second place is that of car 1, Gary Higgs, then Kevin Bell. Kyle Larson is 4th, then Rob Knox in 5th. Kemble Aylett in 6th place. He still hasn't got past the first of the lap cars, and he does now. Andrew Kennedy goes a lap down. Gary Higgs in 2nd place. Kevin Bell in 3rd. Back in 4th is that of Kyle Larson. 5th place is Rob Knox as they come out of pits. Ben once again. Our race leader comes up behind 4 cars. Tristan Green, Steve Schofield, James Westerman and Steve Larson. Gary Higgs is some 3.8 seconds behind. He's going to need these 4 cars to hold Lee Aylett up for a little while. Aylett gets underneath the 1. Passing flag remains out. We've got the Westerman as the next lap car. Gets underneath the Westerman. Gets under Schofield. The team cars have a hip and shoulder in Pearson Teenies. So they come out, and where's Rob Knox going? He took an excursion here in the main straight. They're all over the track at the moment. There's cars everywhere. The 4 car comes up now on Tristan Green. Down into turn number 1. Tristan Green. Lee Aylett gets underneath the Tristan Green now. 2nd place is Gary Higgs. 3rd place Kevin Bell. Then Kyle Larson. 5th place still that of Rob Knox. And then Kemble Aylett in 6th. That's where the battle is actually, 5th and 6th. Kemble Aylett coming up behind Rob Knox. 15 laps to go this time around for our race leader. So 16 at the moment, it'll be 15 in a minute. So Lee Aylett comes out of pits bend. 15 laps to go in the West Australian title. He's going to lap his father in a moment in 6th place. Kemble Aylett is the next victim for Lee Aylett, the race leader. So the son is about to lap his father, who is in 6th place. 14 laps to go. Lee Aylett comes up on Kemble Aylett. Kemble Aylett in 6th position, goes a lap down. There's 5 cars only on the lead lap, and Lee Aylett has a commanding lead over 6 seconds. Back then to Gary Higgs in 2nd. A lonely race for Kevin Bell in 3rd. 4th place is Kyle Larson, then Rob Knox. And Rob Knox is about to go a lap down. Lee Aylett absolutely dominating this race. There's 13 laps to go. 4 cars only on the lead lap. Only the 4 on the podium remain on the lead lap at the moment. Lee Aylett into the main straight in one of the most dominant performances we've seen in a Super Sedan title in a long time. 2nd place is still Gary Higgs, who's almost half a lap behind now. Back then to Kevin Bell in 3rd place, and the 4th place car, Kyle Larson, the only car left on the lead lap. We've still got 10 cars remaining on track with 11 laps to go. Lee Aylett, the race leader. The 2nd place car is that of Gary Higgs, who comes up on the inside of the 96 of Steve Larson. He's also coming up behind James Westerman and the 6th car at Tristan Green. Our leader has 10 to run. He's coming up now on the 3rd place car. Kyle Larson is about to go a lap down to Lee Aylett. Can you believe it? Lee Aylett has got 9.5 laps left to go. He comes up on Kyle Larson, who is in 4th place. At this stage, there'll only be 3 finishing on the lead lap if he gets to Kyle Larson. 9 laps to go. He puts a lap now on the 13 car of Andrew Kennedy. Goes out of Pearson Teenies and down the back straight. The 2nd place car is car number 1, Gary Higgs, who still hasn't got past Tristan Green. 3rd place is Kevin Bell, who's starting to close the gap on Gary Higgs. 8 laps to go now for Lee Aylett. He's half a lap in front. Gary Higgs still hasn't got past Tristan Green, and ever so slowly the 5 car of Kevin Bell is catching the 1 car of Gary Higgs in 2nd place. There's only 1 car between 2nd and 3rd now. Another lap put together. The passing flag is out every lap. Our race leader is car 4. Lee Aylett has 6.5 laps left to go to become the West Australian champion. The current champion is 3/4 of a lap behind. finally gets past Tristan Green. Third place is that of car number 5, Kevin Bell. 3 cars now only on the lead lap because Kyle Larson's been lapped. 6 laps to go and just 3 cars are on the lead lap. The second place car is car number 1 of Gary Higgs and third is that of Kevin Bell. There's 2 lap cars between second and third. Here's our leader through. 5 laps to go here in Bunbury. The West Australian title of Super Sedans has never been dominated in such a fashion as this one has been. Second place is 3/4 of a lap behind. 12 seconds behind is Gary Higgs. Kevin Bell is third. And here's our leader once again. Kyle Larson is 4th. Rob Knox is 5th. Kimball Aylett is 6th. Tristan Green, James Westerman, Steve Larson is next. And then back to Andrew Kennedy. Where is our leader? He comes out at turn number 4. And into the main straight. The Kid Rocket has 3 laps to go. Comes up under number 96. Only a stoppage could deny him from winning from here. 2.5 laps left to go for Lee Aylett. Lee Aylett goes down the back straight. Gary Higgs in second place. Third place is Kevin Bell. There are no lap cars between second and third. Oh, he's gone. He's spun out. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? The leader has spun. He's got a flat tyre. He has a flat tyre. Oh, can you believe it? The drama. It puts Gary Higgs back in front. There are only 2 cars on the lead lap. Unbelievable.
This is incredible, that poor bugger. I know the feeling, national title, right rear tyre blown whilst leading.
Unbelievable. He led by 3/4 of a lap with 2 laps to go. It'll be a 3-lap run to the judge.
Well,
a flat tyre.
There's such a thing as a moral winner, that's it.
Unbelievable. Have you ever seen anyone dominate a Super Sedan race like this, Ben?
No, not in a long time. It's been an absolute copybook ride with that guy, and I just feel sorry for him. I watched him down at Mount Barker a few weeks ago, and he drove absolutely spectacular, just like tonight. And I just really feel sorry for him. That's crazy stuff.
Oh, that is absolutely rotten luck. Absolutely rotten luck. Ladies and gentlemen, how about putting your hands together for Lee Aylett? He's still in his car, but one of the most dominant performances of all time in Super Sedans, and it is going to amount to naught. The race order will be Gary Higgs, Kevin Bell, the only 2 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Larson is third, Rob Knox 4th, and back then to
Where is Rob
Kimball
Knox?
Aylett. Yeah, where is Rob Knox? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
So we'll just have a quick look at this tyre as well to see
Well,
if
this
it's
is going to
actually...
be interesting the last few laps because there wasn't a lot of speed difference between Kevin and Gary. It was just the lap cars sort of separated them a bit. So this is going to be very, very interesting.
3 laps to go. Rotten luck for Lee Aylett. We're back underway. And Gary Higgs leads the West Australian title after being 3/4 of a lap behind. Back in second place is Kevin Bell. Underneath Kevin Bell comes Kyle Larson. They run up into the top turn. There'll be 2 to go this time around. And Gary Higgs all of a sudden looks as though he's going to win the state title. The white flag to come out next time around. What has Kevin Bell got for Gary Higgs? They move out of Pearson Teeney's and down the back straight. There are 9 cars left on track. Ian Crow goes for the white flag. They're homeward bound in the West Australian title, and Gary Higgs looks like he's going to go back to back down into turn 1 for the final time. Kevin Bell will finish on the podium again, and Kyle Larson will finish on the podium for the first time. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, Gary Higgs has waited nearly 4 decades to win his first. He wins 2 in a row. Gary Higgs first across the line, second to Kevin Bell. Kyle Larson third, Rob Knox 4th after finishing 3rd last season. Back then to Kimball Aylett. 6th across the line will be that of Tristan Green. James Westerman, Steve Larson and Andrew Kennedy are all that finished. Put your hands together for him, ladies and gentlemen. He has come back from the dead and has won the title. Unfortunately, Lee Aylett, rotten luck, Lee, after leading by such a long way. But the win will go to car one, will remain car one. Come on here in the main straight. It is a win for Gary Higgs in car one. And as the great Con Migro says, Ben, to finish first, you have to finish.
And you got to be lucky, but you got to admit, Lee's such a great kid. He sort of felt a bit sorry about Gary having to repaint his car, so he thought, oh, he can win it.
Unbelievable. What
Maybe
a race. Gary Higgs first, Kevin Bell, Kyle Larson and Rob Knox are your top four. Morgan Melvin to do the presentations down trackside in just a moment, Morgs. What a good race that ended up being.
What a race indeed. As we still haven't really officially gotten the results, as we still need to make weight for these drivers. As we'll get Bron Keown, the secretary of the Bunbury Car Club, and Kate Helms to help us out. Come on, Bunbury, one more time. Your winner tonight, Gary Higgs.